Good afternoon. This is Libby here with True Crime with Libby Starr. So today, this stream obviously really isn't necessarily related to true crime in and of itself, but I find it unsettling and odd that no one has really, I shouldn't say no one, because I have seen it brought up in a couple of places, but it's not very widespread, being talked about, the fact that Candus is, it's practically part of her uniform, that rebel Confederate flag hat that she wears. And then, as you can see here, she's got it proudly displayed in her living room. Now, I do fully recognize that there are many Southerners who, how should I put this? They proudly display this flag as a symbol of, their Southern heritage, and they do not relate it to racism. I understand that. I do. The fact of the matter, however, is that it has been and continues to be used as a symbol of racism by many. And so we must ask ourselves, as a society, as a country, is that acceptable? Is it acceptable when that symbol means to so many that is a symbol of hatred toward them? Do we cling to our love of our quote unquote Southern heritage so strongly that we no longer care how it affects others? That's just very concerning to me. So that said, I'm going to read from an article. But does Candus have that heritage or does not? Great point, because they're truly not Southerners, right? I personally live in the South now, but I wasn't born and raised in the South. So am I a true Southerner? No, I would say I'm probably a Yankee, but you know what? I'm an American. And I'm an American with free speech, just like Candus is. So we're all just exercising that. And I think we can do that without calling each other names and belittling one another. It only means that to the ignorant that know anything about the flag. It only means what? Well, we're about to no longer be ignorant. So here we go. Let's have a little history lesson, okay? I'm going to let you just look at that picture while I read from this article. And I did link it, so if you want to go back and look at it, this is from WYD Daily News for Southeast Virginia, the Confederate flag battle. Different meanings for different people, okay? So we're going to try to look at this from many sides, right? So that we're not getting just a biased opinion. Slavery, Southern pride, the Confederacy, white America, racism. The Confederate battle flag has a complicated history, from being associated with slavery and protesting racial integration to Southern pride t-shirts and shot glasses. And the recent calls to remove the flag from public spaces show how divisive the symbol really is. But what does the flag actually represent, and can or has this symbol's meaning change over time? It depends who you ask. Bloody, war-torn history. The flag first made its debut in the Civil War as part of Robert E. Lee's Army of Northern Virginia, and was primarily in the public eye after the Southern Confederacy lost the war against the Northern Union states. Originally known as the Confederate battle flag or rebel flag, most Americans refer to the flag as the Confederate flag, even though it's not entirely accurate. The flag made a resurgence in modern times, starting as early as the 1940s, said John Koski, a historian at the American Civil War Museum in Richmond. Koski, who spent 28 years studying the flag's history, even writing a book on his research titled The Confederate Battle Flag, said the flag represents different things to different people. The Confederate soldier, the Confederate nation, the South, more specifically, the white South, the rebels, and the rebellion. But there can be a dark redneck side too. And from the commercial standpoint, a kitschy side, he added. In the 1940s, it was used by the military, but became a national fad in the 1950s, appearing on t-shirts and keychains. It was mostly youth-driven, as most fads are, Koski said. Southern Dixiecrats used the rebel flag to protest against racial integration, he added. Countless publications like Life magazine and even the New York Times questioned the flag's appearance in society and if the gesture of white supremacy was against President Harry S. Truman. The people who complained and wanted the flag limited in public eye the most were African Americans and the United Daughters of the Confederacy, but for different reasons. The daughters felt people were misusing the flag, considering it as a desecration, while African Americans wanted the country to be unified during the Cold War, noting the Confederacy tried to split the Union. It was one of the most interesting things I found, and I was not expecting to find that, he said of the discovery. During civil rights movement, the African American community became very aware of the flag's dark side, Koski said. But growing up, it was not uncommon for Koski to see the flags in the 1960s, 1970s, or 1980s in popular culture, from Warner Brothers and Southern rock bands to roadside stops like Stuckey's. So for many people my age, it's a familiar part of popular culture, the 61-year-old said. Modern times. So does the flag have a place in 2020, 2021 America? And is it unacceptable in today's society? It's pretty clear that the Confederate flag has been fading from the landscape, Koski said. That's been eroding because of active movements to remove the flags from public property. The historian said since the beginning, the flag has been associated with the Confederacy and therefore an association with slavery. It's not their imagination, he said. It was real. It was born out of a nation that was meant to perpetuate slavery. For all people who see it as a Southern symbol, they have to understand that it has almost meant since the beginning as the defense of slavery. Let me read that again. For all people who see it as a Southern symbol, they have to understand that it has almost meant since the beginning as the defense of slavery. Regardless, Koski wants people to understand the flag has multiple meanings, and if you want to understand the big kind of picture, you have to have an open mind and be generous to other people. There's a tendency to think the worst of each other, he said. We tend to judge people based on one perception. It's a divisive symbol as it is. It doesn't have to be as divisive as it was today. So what is the best solution? Where does the flag actually belong? Out of the public eye, Koski said. Koski's book suggests people who truly believe the flag means heritage, a memorial to Confederate soldier or Civil War history, the legitimate places for it are inside museums, history books, cemeteries, or grave sites. If you really believe it means memory of soldiers and history, what do the little souvenirs have to do with memory? He asked. Is this a legitimate expression of symbolism and memory? I've challenged people on that, and to kind of bring people together, if we can come to an agreement on what is a good use and a bad use of the Confederate flag. Shouldn't it be used as ubiquitously ubiquitously historical? He said he feels by reducing the flag's footprint, showing it in the context of the Civil War, people would have an easier time considering what the flag once was. The less you see it, the easier it will be to see it as a symbol, as its supporters and its backers say what it's supposed to be, he said. To me, it's a win-win. I would think it's in everyone's best interest. The more limited it is, the better. But not everyone shares the same opinion about the flag's significance. For many African Americans, the flag's history and what it stands for, the first thing that comes to mind is slavery, said York Williamsburg, James City, NAACP President Brian Smalls. He said, the flag has a very sordid and very racist history, reappearing in the middle of the 1900s as a sign of segregation. Smalls said many people attributed it to the Southern Dixiecrats, and the flag was almost taunted as Black people need to be reminded, as if Black people needed to be reminded of their place. W.Y. Daly reached out to two family-run businesses in the historic Triangle who sell Confederate flag merchandise to find out why the store sells the flag and what the flag means to them. One store told us they stopped selling the Confederate flag merchandise and declined further comment. The second business also declined to comment, but the store's website still shows it sells the merchandise. Okay. That is the end of that article. So let me see what y'all are talking about here. Woo, got a lot. Okay. Got a lot of conversation going on around here. Hello, new coming in. Okay. People saying, hey, history. Some people slept through that class, apparently. Okay, well, I hope you were listening. Right on. No, they're wannabe Southern. I've been saying that. I believe they have some crazy neo-ideology and ethno-religious beliefs. I'm afraid of people who use the Confederate flag, to be honest. I'm a Yankee that lives in the South also. All right, thank you. We need to stick together, girl. I think a lot of people really don't know the history. Yes, absolutely. I definitely learned something in doing this too. That made no sense. I'm sorry. It's only racist to people that don't know what it stands for. No, ma'am or sir. Sorry. I agree. Okay. And the reason that I say that is because it's just a fact that it was used as a symbol for the purpose of opposing segregation. Okay? But we're gonna get into some more info. Okay? I'm not racist, but I don't fly it either. Oh, okay. Well, good. You must be reading from Google. Nope, I'm not reading from a Google search. I was reading from an article, which I stated what it was from the beginning, but it's also linked if you want to go check it out on your own. Well, I'm glad you're here. Hello, Anna Marie. Yes, find Summer Wells. Okay. Read that article though. We sent reps to Nashville to say we want to stay with the union, as 2/3 of our elected reps voted in favor of staying with the union. And what did Nashville do? Nashville said, "Flock that," and sent troops that stayed and occupied us for a good majority of the war. How's your day, hon? It's fine. Hi, Lynn. How are you? I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so now I am going to share a video because I feel like you've heard my voice enough for the time being. And these are just some short and to the point clips that I'm going to show. And they're all linked in the description again. Okay. All right, so flashback. Dr. Boyce says Confederate flag is the swastika for Blacks. Okay, so I'm at the 3 3-minute, 53-second mark here. If you want to go watch this in its entirety, again, it's linked below.
When it comes to
Okay, I just wanted to pause that real quick. Somewhere, I don't know why you think it's cute to continue to put monkey emojis in your statements. And I don't know why you think it's okay to tell anyone to get over the past. He just spoke of that. It's totally inappropriate to ask a whole group of people to get over the past. In the past, I'm assuming you're referring to, slavery. You're asking a whole nation of people to get over it. I don't think you're in the right place here, because your mind is clearly closed to what you believe. So I don't know if you want to open it and learn something, that's cool, but it doesn't seem like you're listening. It seems like you're just waiting to be heard.
You have
Okay, so again, we know that the symbol of a swastika is very, very triggering and demeaning and full of hate toward Jewish people, right? So if the Confederate flag is equivalent to that to Black people, and I'm not saying we can't speak of every single Black person that ever existed, okay? I'm not trying to do that. But if it triggers a Black person in that way, even if it's one person, which we all know it's not, it's generations of people that feel that sting, why would we need so desperately to cling to that? What the hell is wrong with you? Why? Help me understand, because I don't see any reason to cling to that. Okay, I'm getting pissed now. But I'm going to share another informative video. Thank you for listening and watching that one. Here comes another.
Just explain the significance of the Confederate flag, first of all.
Well, the Confederate flag was designed when, in fact, it was South Carolina, the state that is the center of all this controversy was the first state to secede from the Union and began the Civil War. And it was designed for the Confederacy of the South, so the Southern Confederate states, which declared that they were going to be their own separate nation. And that was what began the Civil War in America in 1861. So the 1860s, sorry. Anyway, 150 years ago, as you say, is when it ended. And the flag became therefore a symbol of the South, of the Southern American heritage and a way of life that we know now from things like Gone with the Wind, this kind of mythical version of, and actually quite nostalgic version of what the South in the antebellum era was like. What's happened now is that the Confederate flag gets flown in the southern U.S. and people think, oh, this is like my local flag. And some of the controversy is, I think, not dissimilar to some of the recent controversies about the St. George's Cross in England.
Yep.
And in fact, the Confederate flag was partly modeled on the St. George's Cross. It has the same red accent. The person who designed it actually wrote explicitly at the time that his idea for the flag was that it was on a white background as a symbol of white supremacy. And he says that explicitly. So it was designed as a white supremacist symbol. And the important thing to know about its flying in South Carolina right now is that it was not always flown in South Carolina in the Capitol building. It was actually first raised in 1962 as a defiant response to civil rights. It was actually flown as a white supremacist response to the attempt to integrate the schools and to integrate Black people under the law more
So
fully.
flown in an intimidating,
In a totally
Yes.
intimidating way. It is, and a lot of people are saying it's a terrorist symbol, and I think there is a very strong argument to be made. I think it's no accident that, I mean, the word that Americans use to talk about this is segregation, because that's a slightly more acceptable word, and that's how we're taught to talk about it. But the word,
Well, what word would you use?
I would use the word apartheid. It
Right.
was an apartheid. It is an apartheid symbol, and it was always about segregation. It was always about.
I got to unmute again. Anna Marie, darling. That's why we're having this conversation. And I appreciate that you prefaced your statement by saying, I think, because that's where your statement comes from, your mind. So the symbolism can depend on the person, but right now we're being given facts on the origination. Furthermore, I say again, let's say that someone, say Candus, the way she views the symbolism is that she's integrated herself into the Southern lifestyle now. She's a mountain girl and she wants to have that Southern pride, do. That's fine. But if that makes a Black person feel less than, or like they are being taunted for their history and their ancestral history, that is not okay. That is not okay. That is hateful. Sorry, I'm not coming at you. I'm coming at the whole thing in general. So I don't mean to. See, I can have that sharp tone, y'all, but thank you, Crazy Girl, Oddities, and Adventures. Okay, I'm going to finish.
Apartheid. It's not an accident that Dylan Roof was also photographed wearing a South African apartheid flag. This is a segregationist flag. It is a white supremacist flag. So when people say in the South, they say, oh, this is my heritage, and I'm just protecting my heritage and honoring my heritage. I'm from the North, so I have to say the heritage that you say you're protecting is a segregationist apartheid heritage.
But they see it as a symbol of freedom.
But I mean, so would white apartheid South Africans. I mean, they would say the same thing. So I think that's the problem, is that once you start to honor that people have also on social media made the analogy with Nazi Germany. And usually that's a very illegitimate analogy. People tend to toss it around. But in this case, I think it's not unfair to say, can you imagine Germany saying, there are people whose grandparents fought in World War II as Nazis and would say, okay, the Nazi flag represents that my grandfather died for this cause. That's basically the analogy. And are we actually saying that on our state buildings, our national government, or government buildings anyway, local government buildings, that we are willing to fly this flag that is about the systematic terrorization of a significant portion of our population? And are we actually saying that on our state buildings, our parents fought in world? It's not unfair to say, can you imagine Germany saying, there are people whose grandparents fought in World War II as Nazis and would say, okay, the Nazi flag represents that my grandfather died for this cause. That's basically the analogy. And are we actually saying that on our state buildings, our national government, or government buildings anyway, local government buildings, that we are willing to fly this flag that is about the systematic terrorization of a significant portion of our population, and that terrorism still goes on, as Dylan Roof has just demonstrated?
So in terms of the buildings in Charleston and elsewhere across the South, you say they should come down?
I absolutely do. I think Obama is 100% correct that they belong in a museum. It is a symbol of part of our past history, and therefore you don't eradicate it, but it should not be honored. It is not a heritage that we should be honoring.
Okay, I know what that is. Hold on. That video is also linked in the description. Okay, so I just wanted to stop and unmute and say, hey, listen, did you hear the analogy? That was the second analogy made between the swastika and the Confederate flag. Are y'all getting it now? Is anyone still confused by that? To the people who think it's perfectly fine and lovely to fly the Confederate flag, do you also think it's fine to wear a hat with a swastika on it? And how do you think those two are different? Help me understand. Help me understand. No? No one's got anything? Okay. Well, I'm going to share the next video then. Thank you for joining me.
And now for the history of the controversial Confederate flag. Supporters of the flag say it simply represents a rich Southern heritage and states' rights. It is not promoting slavery or the oppression of African Americans. But to truly understand, we first have to go back to the reason the Civil War was even fought in the first place. 60 to 70% of high school history teachers in America believe and teach that the Civil War was fought mainly for states' rights. Was the Civil War simply about states retaining the rights to govern themselves without an oppressive federal government butting in? The answer is found in the Southern Declaration of Succession, which says, quote, "Our position is thoroughly identified with the institution of slavery. A blow at slavery is a blow at commerce and civilization," end quote. You can't get any clearer than that. So on to the flag. The first flag of the Confederacy, Stars and Bars, was used between 1861 and 1863 and is not the flag we all recognize as representing the Confederacy. The design was pretty close to the Union flag at the time, with a dark blue square in the upper left corner, red and white stripes, albeit only 3, and had 7 stars to represent the breakaway states. The similarity of the flags was a problem on the battlefield, resulting in much confusion about who was friend or foe. Next, the Confederacy took the familiar blues, St. Andrew's cross, and white stars on a red field and put it on a white flag. It was called the Stainless Banner. But this flag also had problems because it looked like a surrender flag on the battlefield when the wind wasn't blowing and was retired after 1865. The last flag was simply a modification of the Stainless Banner. A red vertical stripe was added to the end of the flag, and it was renamed the Blood-Stained Banner. Shortly after this flag was adopted, the South surrendered. So the Confederate flag that we all know was not actually one of the 3 official Confederate flags, although the highly recognized symbol was embedded in it. Instead, it served as the battle flag of Robert E. Lee's battle unit. Even so, the flag still is a point of bitter contention between its supporters and opposers. I'm Dr. Doug, and this is Because It Matters.
Okay, so as he just explained, the Confederate flag that we know to be the Confederate flag now, or we think to be, is not the original that was designed for the Confederacy. So that's why a lot of people get tied up in that argument. And it's like, well, who the fuck cares? Because it's what is used now. And the fact of the matter is that it does symbolize racism. It does, to many. And so even if you don't intend for it to mean that, to symbolize that, it still does. It's hurtful. It's hurtful to many people. So then why would you do it? So Layla, yes, absolutely. There is freedom to wear what you want. But this is what I say to you. If you wear something that offends and spews hatred toward a large group of people, and it's hurtful, then you're a douchebag. So maybe you shouldn't just wear what you want if it's hurtful to others. And that's just my opinion. All right, so I had another video queued up, and I have to go fetch it because I mistakenly X'd out of it. So give me a moment. Give me just a moment. I'm going. I'm almost there. Oh, I think you're going to like this one, guys. It's called The American Civil War Oversimplified. Oversimplified.
Here's the deal.
And I've had it.
Mission. You die. We find out in.
I'm going to get past the ads here first.
By
And then I got to get to
Click the link down below to get that away.
this place
In
where
the
I
North,
wanted to
Great
start.
American nation meant to stand as a shining beacon of freedom, while
Uno momento, por
U.S.
favor.
Marine Brown.
Okay. I think we're about at the right spot. Okay, here we go. Share screen, share audio. Here we go. Do. Yes, it's a cartoon, guys. Here we go.
What on earth are you thinking about? Bitch on Brown Farm? Yeah, me too. To make matters worse, new northern free states meant now the southern states really were outnumbered, and they were beginning to feel bitterly spiteful and oppressed. Further fear began to spread in the South when news broke that a relatively unknown figure had just secured the Republican Party nomination for president. Abraham Lincoln, mostly well-liked among anti-slavery Northerners, had made some of the most powerfully worded speeches against slavery of any politician at the time. And now there was a chance that he and his cheekbones could become president. For the South, that would be too much. In the 1860 election, Lincoln's name didn't even appear on the ballot in 10 southern states. But much to their horror, when the final results came in, Lincoln had won by an electoral college landslide. Lincoln himself tried to calm their fear. How many times do I have to tell you, I'm not going to take away your slaves? Yeah, right, Honest Abe. We've had enough of you Northerners. We're going to go form our own country. You can't do that. Why not? Well, if you had won the election, would it be okay for us to leave? Of course not. Well, why not? Because that's not how victim mentality works. Many states felt that when they joined the Union, they always withheld the right to leave it whenever they pleased. Many people living in 19th century America often felt more loyalty to their state than to the nation. And now, with the South feeling like it had lost its voice in the federal government, they were out of here. South Carolina was the first to go, and over a period of 6 months, one by one, 11 slave states officially seceded from the Union, with just 4 contested border states opting to remain. The seceding states issued a number of official documents justifying their secession. South Carolina proclaimed that it was northern states' hostility to slavery that rendered the federal government illegitimate. Mississippi declared that their position was thoroughly identified with the institution of slavery. And in a speech, the Confederate vice president stated that the new Confederate government rested upon what he called the great truth of racial inequality. Revered American generals, such as Robert E. Lee, opted to side with their states over the Union. And with all the chaos,
I need to play that part again. Please pay attention.
institution of slavery. And in a speech, the Confederate vice president stated that the new Confederate government rested upon what he called the great truth of racial inequality.
So, this dude right here, whoops, where'd he go? Where'd he go? The Confederate vice president, okay, stated what?
Vice president stated that the new Confederate government rested upon what he called the great truth of racial inequality.
Okay, the Confederate government rested upon, Okay, their whole Confederate government rested on what he called the great truth of racial inequality. Okay, that's what your Confederacy dude said. So how are we feeling about the Confederacy? Why are we still repping the Confederacy? Why? Because we believe in racial inequality? What in the flying fig Newton is wrong with people?
Quality. Revered American generals such as Robert E. Lee opted to side with their states over the Union. And with all the chaos, one New York lawyer wrote that rather than a bold eagle, America's national bird should be a debilitated chicken. And hey, I kind of like that. One man, watching the crisis unfold, knew it would be his job to solve it. Lincoln was just about to hop on a train and become the President of the United States of America. Hey man, you're hella ugly. Grow a beard or something to hide that face. Good idea. Still ugly. With assassination plots already underway, Lincoln had to travel to Washington, D.C. under heavy disguise and protection. All along the way, he received stacks of threatening letters. May the hand of the devil strike you down. You are destroying this country. Damn you, every breath you take. Love from Grandma. At his inauguration speech, Lincoln once again reiterated that no, I do not want to take away anyone's slaves. But for Lincoln,
Hey, welcome, God's Grace. As stated in the pinned comment, this has nothing to do with missing Summer Wells. This has to do with the inappropriateness of the symbol of hate that Candus so very proudly wears on the daily and displays in her living room. And that symbol is a symbol of hatred toward many, 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 many people. So, yeah. And no, it's not inappropriate. And why are you here? Why did you click on this? Just to tell us that? Has God given you the assignment of letting us know that this is an inappropriate conversation? Were you sent by God? Because I believe that God wants us to do away with symbols of hatred toward others, which is what the Confederate flag is. Ma'am, God bless you.
Lincoln, he did want to preserve the Union. He declared secession to be nothing but an illegitimate rebellion. In your hands and not in mine, he said, is the momentous issue of civil war. You can have no conflict without being yourselves the aggressors. We are not enemies, but friends. It was clear Lincoln was ready and willing to get freaky and open up a can of Scatman John if he had to. Whether he had the support of the people, however, was in question. In the end, it was the Confederates that fired the first shot.
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you
shot. As they seceded, the Confederate States began seizing federal U.S. property throughout the South. Off the coast of Charleston, South Carolina, was one such federal property, Fort Sumter, held by a measly, undersupplied U.S. force. The Confederate militia there demanded the fort surrender, a request which was quickly denied, and any remaining hope for a peaceful solution to the secession crisis probably then died when the Confederates did this. The Battle of Fort Sumter is considered to be the beginning of the American Civil War. Many of the Confederates there also considered it to be the end of the American Civil War. They hoped Old Abe would just sigh and say, okay, you win. Unfortunately for them, Lincoln actually said, you're about to get a roundhouse to the face. Lincoln sent out the call for 75,000 volunteers, and men signed up in droves, hopeful for some adventure and good old-fashioned F-U-N. In the new Confederate capital at Richmond, Virginia, Confederate President Jefferson Davis and his cheekbones had also sent out the call for 100,000 men. As ever, both sides hoped for a quick end to the war. Is it over yet? No, Jimmy, it's been 1 week. Is it over now? No. How about now? If you ask that one more time, I swear I will turn this army around and you'll all have to go back home to your wives and children. But in particular, the South knew the conflict would pose a bit of a challenge. How can we expect to win with a population of only 5 million against 22 million in the North? If you count us 4 million slaves, you'd have 9 million. Great idea. Hand these rifles out to all the Wait a minute. You almost had me there. The problem for Lincoln was that many of his top generals were getting old and were being a bit too cautious. The commanding general was a man named Winfield Scott, a veteran of the Mexican-American War, and by now, he was too fat to even mount a horse. Okay, chaps, we need to come up with a plan. Hit me. We could wait for the Confederates to come and apologize. Maybe we should all sit in a circle and discuss our feelings. Crossing the Delaware into New Jersey worked for me. Those are all terrible ideas. And you? Wrong video. Hey, I'm the greatest president in the history of this nation. Yeah, we'll see about that, dingus. Eventually, Lincoln's generals came up with a multi-pronged strategy. First, a blockade would cut off and starve the South of supplies by sea. Secondly, taking control of the great Mississippi River would sever the South's economic artery while splitting it in two. And finally, a main Union force in the East would move south and take the Confederate capital, ending the war. Bada boom, bada bing. Skirmishes began to break out across the nation, and the Union Army in the East began to move south towards Richmond. Everything seemed to be going well until they reached Manassas, where they came upon a large Confederate force. It's almost like they were waiting for us. How did they know? As it turned out, spies in DC had sent a coded message to the Confederates warning of the invasion. Did you use NordVPN? What the heck is NordVPN? I'm so glad you asked. Do you use the internet? Me too. Do you like internet safety? Me too. Hey, we should hang out sometime so I can tell you about NordVPN. NordVPN has over Confederates rapidly brought in supply and use promo code oversimplified to get 70% off an annual subscription. That's only $3.49 a month plus an additional month for free. Again, that's nordvpn.com/oversimplified. And as always, you'll be supporting my channel. So thank you. Now, where were we? Oh yeah, secession, Fat Man, and the Union invasion into Virginia. The two sides encountered each other at Manassas and both geared up for the first major battle of the Civil War, the First Battle of Bull Run. The Confederates rapidly brought in support via rail, and the two sides were about equal in numbers. However, they were also equally inexperienced. A large number of civilians also rode out by carriage from DC to picnic on the nearby hills and watch the excitement unfold. Nobody seemed to quite understand how destructive this war was going to be. The Union forces pulled a flanking maneuver to hit the Confederates on their left, and the two sides fired on each other in rows. Farm families living in the area were forced to flee the fighting, including a man named Wilmer McLean. Hurry up, Martha. There's a war out here. The more you tell me to hurry up, the slower I will go. The Union force saw initial success pushing the Confederates back to Henry Hill. But one as of yet fairly unknown General Thomas Jackson had arrived, and he took a defensive position, standing firm like a stone wall, holding the Union army off, and finally sending them running back to Washington, D.C. With heavy casualties, the sobering reality of war hit both sides hard, and the North, having just lost the first major battle, had to face the serious prospect that they may not actually win this war. President Lincoln, General Jackson whipped us so hard, the Confederates are calling him Stonewall Jackson. Wait, that's why they're calling him that? Not because he looks like he ran face first into a stone wall? Apparently not. Worse yet, the North had also lost the first major battle out west, giving away control of southwest Missouri. All of this was terrible news for Abraham Lincoln, especially since many of his generals and cabinet already didn't have much respect for him. They felt he was incapable of running a war because he seemed a bit like your friendly old grandpa. He famously loved a long-winded story and a good pun. I've been so busy, my wife is missing me, but her aim is starting to improve. But deep down, few realized he could also be incredibly shrewd. Oh, Abe, you're so funny. Funny how? Funny like I'm a clown? Abe, I was just... No, funny how? Like I'm here to amuse you? During the war, Lincoln committed acts that were viewed by some as impeachable. His administration suppressed the free media from printing articles sympathetic towards the South. Some Southern sympathizers were even arrested without a trial. Lincoln's criticizers began accusing him of being a tyrant. But to quote the man himself, hey, it's war, baby. What are you gonna do? By the end of 1861, with things already looking bad for the North, abolitionists such as Frederick Douglass couldn't believe that the Union Army weren't enlisting black men. He continued to put pressure on Lincoln to make the war about emancipation. Mr. President, it's time to make the war about emancipation. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. The feathers are already ruffled. But Lincoln, hanging on to hope for a quick end to the conflict, continued to fight only for the preservation of the Union. It was decided, however, that escaped slaves from the Confederacy could be held as enemy contraband, and many of these men were put to work bolstering the Union's infrastructure and supply lines. Hoping to get things moving, Lincoln made young General George McClellan the new commanding general, and McClellan began to train up his men. He thought a lot of himself, however, and believed he was going to be the nation's great savior. And like many others, he didn't approve of the president's handling of the war. On one occasion, Lincoln went to McClellan's house to meet with him, but McClellan was late returning home. He kept the president waiting, and when he finally got there, he just straight up went to bed. Now that's what I call disrespectful. McClellan talked the talk, but could he walk the walk? No. Like Lincoln's other generals, McClellan was maddeningly cautious. Hey man, could you move south and attack the enemy? What? Are you crazy? What if they have a big scary army down there? They probably do. What? Oh my gosh! McClellan worried that he did not have the numbers he needed to fight effectively. What if they have like 10,000 men? Okay, no problem. We'll get you 20,000 men. Well, what if they have 30,000 men? I'll need 40. Okay, you can have 40. Well, what if they have 50? I'll need 60. Lincoln tried, but it was all in vain. McClellan would not make a move for the rest of the year. The North's one saving grace for now was a general out west fighting in Kentucky and Tennessee, General Ulysses S. Grant. Cool, collected, methodical, and a big fan of whiskey. His chief of staff took it upon himself to keep Grant sober. One officer said that Grant habitually wore an expression as though he were determined to drive his head through a brick wall and was about to do it. And that determination led him to score a number of key victories when others around him were failing. At the Battle of Fort Donelson, Grant was like, "Why does Stonewall Jackson get a cool nickname and I don't? I want a cool nickname." "Sir, the Confederates say they're ready to surrender and want to know your terms." "No terms, just unconditional surrender." Hey, unconditional surrender Grant. That's a pretty cool nickname, right, guys?
It's time to help people customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Right? Later in April 1862, the Confederates launched a sudden attack on Grant's army at Shiloh, but the determined, unconditional surrender Grant threw his lines at the rebels and sent them running. The battle resulted in the heaviest casualties in U.S. history so far, and despite his victory, Grant found himself under fire. You have to get rid of Grant. Why? Didn't he win? Yes, but he just threw his men at the enemy. Isn't that the point? Also, he's a loony drunk. Well, what does he like to drink? I believe whiskey, sir. Then send him more. Lincoln watched as his cabinet did nothing but bicker, and his generals did nothing. But then, worst of all, personal tragedy struck. Lincoln's young son, Willie, very much loved by the president, died of typhoid fever at the age of 11. Lincoln was a sensitive man and was heavily affected by the loss. His wife was inconsolable. But one of Lincoln's greatest traits, what made him such a great leader, was in the darkest of times, with composure and determination, he kept moving forward. He knew it was his responsibility to hold himself and his family together, and by doing so, he hoped to hold the nation together. And he had had it with McClellan's inaction. Lincoln decided he was going to take control. In March 1862, Lincoln firmly ordered McClellan to once again move south towards Richmond. McClellan insisted instead they move by sea to the Virginia Peninsula and attack Richmond from the southeast. "Yes," said Lincoln. "Okay, anything." Lincoln held on to some of McClellan's men to defend D.C. from a nearby Stonewall Jackson wreaking havoc in the Shenandoah Valley, and he sent McClellan south. McClellan landed on the peninsula, and he began to move inland. He came up against a small Confederate army that had dug in at Yorktown. McClellan vastly outnumbered the force, but it's said that Confederate General Magruder deceived McClellan by cleverly maneuvering his smaller force and making McClellan believe he faced a huge army. "No, you have way more men than them. Move forward." No. McClellan settled in for a month-long siege, giving time for Johnston to move south from Manassas and Magruder time to retreat. When he finally entered the city and found it deserted, he declared it a victory, calling his success brilliant. Then, after meeting some resistance at Williamsburg, McClellan moved to within just 20 miles of Richmond, his armies able to hear the church bells ringing in the enemy capital. "You still outnumber them. Go give them hell." No. McClellan once again held back, moving slowly and defensively, and with his army split in two, the Confederates saw an opportunity to strike back. McClellan's advance was halted, and now the Confederates pulled an ace out of their sleeve. "General Lee, you're up. Do you think we should evacuate Richmond?" "No, Mr. President, no need." General Robert E. Lee, one of the most brilliant military commanders of the time, was now in charge. One of his biggest strengths was his ability to read the mind of his enemy, and he knew McClellan was cautious and weak. After moving Stonewall Jackson south to join him, and even though he had a smaller army, Lee hit McClellan in a series of fast-paced, close combat battles that had McClellan spooked. McClellan retreated the Union Army back again and again and again, escaping the peninsula and returning to D.C. Lee had defeated McClellan, and the campaign had failed. Well, that was a major success. A success? Tell me exactly what was successful about that. Well, we successfully retreated. You lost. I didn't lose. I merely failed to win. Things just kept looking worse for the North. At least their Navy had seen some success, capturing a number of key port cities, notably when they steamrolled past Confederate forts to take New Orleans. And speaking of the Navy, both sides had begun using ironclads. So that's pretty cool. But in the East, they still weren't having any luck. After McClellan's disastrous campaign, Lincoln briefly sent out one General John Pope to attack Northern Virginia. Hey man, just checking in. How's it going? Well, the Confederates kicked my butt at Cedar Mountain. Then they raided my camp and ran off with my money and clothes. Also, I appear to have been wedgied. Lee defeated Pope at yet another battle at Bull Run, in which nearby farm families once again got caught up in the fighting. Hurry up, Martha! There's another war out here! I'm waiting for my hair to dry! Wilmer McLean, sick of war, moved his family south, where he knew the war would definitely, absolutely, never touch him again. But Lincoln had yet another problem to contend with. European powers, in particular the UK, were looking increasingly like they may intervene diplomatically on the side of the Confederates. They were missing their precious supply of Southern cotton because of the Union blockade, and they wanted to see a swift conclusion to the war. The tension between America and Great Britain had been increasing, especially after Confederate diplomats were discovered on a British ship. Now, after McClellan's failure to take Richmond, the UK declared it impossible for the North to win. Lincoln needed something to prevent Europe from getting involved, and after more petitioning from abolitionists, he decided maybe the time was finally right to make the war about ending the institution he hated, slavery. If the North had a noble cause to fight for, Europe would be less likely to intervene. But Lincoln and his cabinet knew before they could declare something as radical as emancipation, they needed a victory, especially now that the Confederates were about to go on the attack. Aware that he had a limited number of men and supplies, Lee now hoped that if he could just threaten Washington, D.C. militarily, he would gain Europe's recognition and crush Northern morale in time for the midterm elections, forcing the North to negotiate. With confidence at an all-time high, for the first time, Robert E. Lee invaded the North. But on September 13th, the North finally had some luck. Oh boy, it's my lucky day. A cigar in a field. Hey, what's this wrapped around it? Oh my gosh! That's right. The North had discovered General Lee's battle plans wrapped around some cigars. And in them, they saw that Lee had split up his forces. McClellan headed out from D.C., and the two sides met in the Battle of Antietam, a crucial battle that would decide the course of the war. It saw the most vicious fighting to date, and still remains the single bloodiest day in American history. But, for once, the North came out victorious, and Lee was forced to retreat. He's on the run. Chase him down and finish him off. No. You know what, old buddy, old pal? You're fired. The North had won their crucial victory. Lincoln breathed a huge sigh of relief, and with that win, he was prepared to take a huge step. On September 22nd, the Emancipation Proclamation was issued. In January, all slaves held in the Confederate States would be, as far as the U.S. government was concerned, officially free. Throughout the North, free black men and women rejoiced, knowing that if the North were to win, their brothers and sisters would no longer be held in bondage. The proclamation also had the intended effect on Europe, who were not willing to oppose a pledge to end slavery. An outraged Confederacy knew that Lincoln had given the war a new meaning. It was no longer just about the preservation of the Union. Now, it was about creating a new Union, washed clean of its original sin. A Union without slavery.
So, as you can see, there's a part 2. So I encourage you to go watch that again if you were wanting to see it from the beginning, and if you wanted to see the part 2 as well, because I didn't link part 2. So in closing, the Confederate flag we see today, okay, the one that Candus proudly displays in her living room and on her hat that she wears on the daily, is not the original design. But to that I say, so freaking what? Okay, it doesn't matter how many times it's been changed or what have you. The point is, we now consider it to be the Confederate flag. The flag itself is not really the issue. A flag is a piece of, material. But the fact is, what it originally stood for, okay, was seceding from the Union because those states wanted to make sure that they kept slavery a-going. Okay? Number 2, the Confederate flag is symbolically equal to the hatred symbolized in the swastika. Okay? Hatred, hatred, hatred. Why? Why would anyone cling to a symbol that is so hateful toward an entire group of people? Just because you have some kind of affection toward it, get over it, let it go. It's hurtful to others. That's just my opinion, and everything on this channel is my opinion, except for what is presented as factual information. And you can do the fact checking if you wish on these videos that I have uploaded by checking in the description box and going to them. All right, number 3. Oh, did I skip 3? Yes, I skipped 3. So the third point, I'll just make something up. The third point is, what in the flying fig Newton? Why do people think that it is acceptable for Candus to be rocking this hat? Why is no one talking about that? Because it has nothing to do with summer missing. I know that, but it has to do, it says something about who she is as a person, does it not? To me, it does. Okay, number 4. It was used as a symbol to oppose segregation. Okay, consider that, please. It was used as a symbol to show opposition. I think I said that wrong. Yeah, I did. I meant integration. That's an egregious mistake right there. It was used as a symbol to impose segregation, to oppose integration. Okay. Oh, Libby. Okay. So anyway, I made that correction. Hopefully you're watching this with audio on and not just reading that. Number 5, the Confederate flag has been and continues to be used as a symbol of white supremacy, which is gross and disgusting. You saw those pictures of when I, in the second video, I believe it was, that I shared, where they were talking about the symbolism of the flag and how it is equivalent to the swastika to the Jewish people. Dylan Roof, who is the young man, and I use that term very loosely, who went and shot innocent Black people in their church in South Carolina. He was a Confederate flag lover. So, all right, so let's see what, I got to get this off the screen because I can't believe I made that egregious error. Oh my gosh. Proving I'm human once again. Okay, so let's see what y'all are talking about. And then we're going to say goodbye. And then maybe I'll see you at, thank you, Jen. Maybe I'll see you at True Crime Rocket Science. And I know I'll see you at Chris's tonight, of course. I would love to be a foster, but I get too attached and it would break my heart to have them go back to parents that I know have abused them before. Oh, yes. For sure. Thank you. Y'all are awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you all very much. No worries. The sad part is that we all still have slavery, human trafficking. Yep, absolutely. And I will add that many still, no, I'm not even going to go there today. That's opening a whole new can of worms. So we'll save that for another day. This is my opinion. Candus is nasty. Nothing about Candus is okay. I tend to agree. Thank you. Crazy Girl Oddities and Adventures. Do you have a channel? Because that sounds like a channel name. If you do, I'm going to have to come over there because I like that name. Does anyone know if the other group out searching has qualifications to do so? No, and I need to go check into that. I don't know what's going on. I've seen that come out. Mountain Girl spoke about it a little bit, but it didn't sound like she had, too much information either, per se. So we're going to have to just kind of wait on that. So, guys, has anyone seen any new content put out by Voices Behind the Wall? Did y'all see that they have another channel? Oh my gosh. Let me see if I made a screenshot of that. I don't know if I did because I think I was so disgusted. I think I was like, no, that's going too far. Anyway, they have another channel. The thumbnail is going to make you puke. So, yeah. You saw Mountain Girl's video too? Okay. Who else put a video out about that? Because I need to see what's going on. You're welcome, Crazy Girl. They have 3 what? Yes, they put out that Don said Summer wasn't missing any toys and he wasn't doing any interviews. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. I would like to note that I remember Don saying in an interview, and I couldn't tell you which one it was because the man has done, several. Okay. Don said that the TBI removed, and y'all know this, a lot of the technical or the technology devices, TVs, phones, although he said they got their phones back. We don't know if that's true, whatever. A computer. But he also said that they took clothing. That could have been to try to get a scent for the dogs, but, could be for DNA purposes too, guys. Just saying. Yeah, Zav Girl. Okay, I'm going to have to check that out too. Smart TV, yeah. Camera, you're right. Thank you. What made no sense, Phoenix? Y'all, why can't we I just want to know. I don't understand why TBI is not telling us anymore. Please tell us. Please tell us about the phone records. Please tell us about any of the forensics. What are you doing? What are we waiting for to have put together? It's making me nervous. I feel nervous that maybe they aren't getting ready to make an arrest. How could it be taking this long? I know we have all of these reasons to believe that we are getting close to an arrest, but then again, I'm like, wow, it's really taking a long time. But then again, when you think in terms of, how long it took in many other cases, I guess it's not actually taking a long time. I just pray, I really, really pray that Summer is okay somewhere. I don't believe they have any credentials to be searching. They make videos and delete them. I know. I wish they would, Betty Jo, but I guess, I mean, we do have to trust that they're the experts in this. And, I am far from it. I don't claim to be. I'm just someone with an opinion. Look, when I have an expertise in something that I talk about, I will let you know, because I do have some expertise in some things, but this I do not claim to. And frankly, any YouTuber that just does this as a YouTube channel shouldn't be suggesting that they do. An exception, in my opinion, would be Chris McDonough. Yes, he has a YouTube channel, but he also has that experience. He is retired, but then again, he still works to this day with the Cold Case Foundation. So he has expertise, right? Legitimate professional expertise. So I just kind of tired of hearing some, I'm not even going to mention anyone, content creators who purport things, with such confidence as if they are working professionals in the matter. And it's like, no, you're just a person like me and you have a strong opinion. Great. Okay. Like, let's just talk about it. I did see the video on YouTube where the boys were riding the dirt bike and some are running behind. Yes, I did see that. Little honey pie. Sweetie. Yes, they asked them to leave in a not so polite way. Ooh, who asked who to leave? What? What'd I miss? The searchers? I don't know what's happening. I know, Anna Marie, and I agree. But the story on that is, and this comes from Don's stepsister, I believe, that when they got those phones, they were very expensive and they came from that GoFundMe money. And then Rose Meyer was pissed when they did that. And also Don's dad was pissed and was like, that's crazy. You should be looking for your daughter, and hung up on him. So yeah. Hey, from London. I see Don is doing yet another interview later after Chris. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a busy night, isn't it? This independent search was in Greene County. Yeah, I know, but is it clarified that they actually were searching for Summer? And let me ask you this. Has anyone searched for Summer in or around Don's work site? Anybody know that? Because that's where I'd be looking. Potentially, possibly. See, I don't know. I mean, if you think about it in those terms, then would be thinking the accident theory, right? You'd be thinking the accident theory and that she's no longer with us. You think they should, Jeannie? Haven't heard. Yep. And I think we would. But then again, yeah, I think we would. I think there are enough people aware of this case that if there was a search going on in that area, that somebody would notice it and would put that info out there. Whoa, somewhere. What you talking about? If you listen to the dispatch call, it only lasts like 11 minutes. I think they found Summer that day. All cops go 10-8, which means they are done and can go to other calls. What? You must elaborate, please. If they found her, what are we doing? What is happening? Why would that be covered up? Tell me your thoughts on that, because that seems, way far out there. If accident, I would also be looking into the funeral director, David, just my opinion. You really think they would feel like they could trust him to keep something like that under wraps? I think AB said they did search the Jonesboro worksite. I don't know, but I want to know, and I want it to be verifiable information. The police code is 10-8 in service/available for assignment. So, Layla, does that mean we have somebody on it? Is that essentially what that means? Am I understanding that correctly? So somewhere says it means they are done and can go to other calls. I'm so confused. Okay, Catherine says they went onto an encrypted channel. Anna Marie. Oh, goodness. You know what I would love to? I would love to hear the actual 911 call. I know everyone would love to. And I also want to know, are there 2 911 calls? And I think I forgot to say hello to some people. Cat, oh, hello. Love being grams, 12 grams. Hello. Welcome. Welcome, Jeannie. Who did I not say? Carrie Lawson. Hi. Phoenix. Hello. Betty Joe. How you doing? Anita. Yeah, I heard someone said they found her toy, but is that a rumor or is that verifiable? I gotta know. We can't be spreading rumors, we gotta verify things. Royal Blue, I think I did say hello to you and welcome. Thank you for being here. Hello, Patricia. Yes, I can see you. Thank you for making yourself be seen. I hate for anyone to feel like they're not being seen, because that is that's a trigger for your girl here. When I am feeling unseen, I mean, it's a problem. I need to work on it, but when I feel unseen, I feel unimportant, and I don't like that. So I don't want anyone else to feel that way. So if I don't mention you, be like, hello, and I will certainly acknowledge you and let you know that you are important, because every person is important. All right, Shell D says, I rewatched the Unmasked interview with Allison and Chris, one with her and Hunter. Yes, re-listening, I was taken back by a few things that I wasn't before. I'm not sure if these people have really fallen out. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. And you know what I think of immediately when I read that is that when Don put on his post, why is it now that Summer's missing, suddenly they're not talking to us anymore? And originally I thought, what? Like, you're just doing damage control here. You're just trying to point the finger at someone else, is what I felt about it. But tell me your thoughts of what made you curious about that. Shell, I value your opinion. My mom's name is Libby. Oh, I'm sorry she passed. My very, very good friend, her mom just passed, and it's really, really, she's struggling. Okay, haunted? What you talking about? Who's lying? Living and stuff. Oh yeah, I do that because I like to chat with people. You know, we all have like a need for a sense of belonging in a community. So when I go in there, I'm like, hey everyone, and then like if no one talks to me, I'll be like, let me look and see if any of my peeps are in here, and I say hello to them. That's beautiful, Jeannie, that she was your best friend. Don, Candus, Allie, and Hunter. Oh, you think they're all lying? The body language is all wrong in your opinion? Okay. They all have been using past tense? Okay. All right. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad it made you feel special. You are special. Yes, I saw that, Patricia. The 17-year-old girl, and I think she was accompanied by a 27-year-old man, if I'm not mistaken. What kind of, I don't know, I was going to report on it, and then I was like, why is this an amber alert, or was it a silver? Shoot, now I don't remember what kind of alert it was, but he is charged with kidnapping and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. So I am not real sure what's going on there. I don't know if she's in danger herself or if she's broken a law. I'm kind of wanting some more information about that before I cover. Yes, her name is Autumn. Yeah, and then Catherine C. You know what another interesting tidbit is? The little baby Mercedes, who was missing and since has been found deceased. God rest her little baby soul. She has a sister named Summer. And when that came up, I was like, oh my gosh, what? So it's just like, I don't know. I just don't know. Just a lot of crossovers and weirdness. Don reminds me so much of Chris Watts. See, I have to be honest, I did not get into that case as deeply as I did with Summer's disappearance. I did not get into the Watts case until the case, till he was arrested and afterwards, and I didn't even delve into like who he is really as a person, because I don't know, I was just like, you're disgusting, and I just didn't get into it. But that's interesting to know, and a lot of people have made that same comparison that I've seen, for sure. Sounds like the quantum computer is messing up. Joshua at the lab. I don't know who that is. Hi, I don't care. Your name is hilarious. Bless them children. Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%. What? Did that really, really happen? Did that really happen? Where's the receipts? Please tell me. The sermon on the porch. True Rocket Scientist is so funny with the way, and he doesn't even, he doesn't chuckle when he says it, but I just have to every time he says stuff like that, because I'm like, it's just so catchy. The sermon from the porch, the sermon on the mountain, the sermon at the swimming hole. We have, oh my gosh. Okay, Layla, I will check my email. The church looks like a cult. See, Haunted, I don't get that vibe. And I know that a lot of people do. I know a lot of people are saying they get that vibe. I just don't. I think that, they could very well be. I'm not saying that they're not, but I don't get that vibe. They just remind me of people who follow Jesus, and he is a daily part of their lives, and they, these are people that probably go to church 3 times a week and talk to each other in psalms and hymns, and just everything they do revolves around their faith, which I should probably do too, but not in that same church, because I'm not a Seventh-day Adventist. But anyway, I do remember Waco. Yeah. So I don't know what about it makes you feel like it's shush. See how they have to do that at some point during every stream? And it's always because, they follow me everywhere. I'm the favorite person of the dogs. I don't mind tooting my horn on that. They legitimately follow me everywhere. And so whenever I'm doing a live stream, they will be right next to me. And then when they hear a noise of someone else within the house, they have to protect me, even though I don't need protection from their little asses. Because there's no danger. And they couldn't even defend me. They're tiny little things. They're so silly. Yes. Okay, wait. I'm behind, especially when they're saving up for a wedding. Shares full of BS. Yeah. Does anyone think Don and Candus will take off? Oh, I wish they would. Isn't it bizarre that they say the parents, but really only relay Don's call? Yeah. Like, is Candus even talking to them? I don't know. At this point, I'm concerned about whether Candus is still with us on the planet. Same, Royal Blue. Do you buy and dispense the treats? Well, my husband does too. I don't know. They're just very, now keep in mind, we've had them since puppies, like one, the Jaxie boy, but puppy, he's not a puppy. Well, neither one of them are really puppies. They're old actually, but we've had them since they were puppies. And so like this dude, we had him since he was 8 weeks old, and he used to sleep on my pillow, actually behind my pillow, behind the top of my pillow every night. He would just fit him little self there. So he still thinks he's a baby, and he thinks he's my baby. And he thinks he's a real boy, like Pinocchio. But he's a dog. He doesn't know he's a dog, you guys. It's weird. But it's not weird because I did it. Oh, be quiet. My husband's over there. He's oh, gosh. we take turns feeding our dogs, and we just switched to this bougie, expensive dog food. I mean, it's from the grocery store. It's not like it's, what am I trying to say? Designer or something, but it's the refrigerated kind, just because they're getting old and I just want them to have good food. Because we started noticing the dry food that we were putting, we would put it in their bowl and literally they would only eat it at the point that they became starving. Like, it wasn't like once we poured it, they would run over there and eat it. Okay. We would pour it, they'd run over there, see it was the same old dry shiz, and then walk away. I'm like, this is not cool. They're not even enjoying eating. We need to get them some food that they enjoy. So now with that bougie food, we feed them twice a day, and we have to cut it up and everything. And they stand there waiting for us and they're getting all excited, wagging their tails. And then once we put their dishes down, they are done in 30 seconds. So they actually are enjoying their food, and that makes me happy. I'm just laughing at this. I don't care. I mean, I don't care. I literally don't care. What don't you care about? I have to see. Cher said DW on a community post titled about love/hate. It's a response. What? I don't know about all that stuff. Okay. Since the shift with Chris, which humanized her in a public eye, yeah, she stayed off YouTube. The only time you see her now is at a prayer circle. Do you think that's strategic, Haunted? Because I have to tell you that I get vibes of, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way. I mean this in a purely like, this is what my spidey sense is telling me. I get low IQ vibes when Candus talks. Just saying. I think she may be a little bit on the low IQ side. But I don't know. It could be an act. It could be the drug use. Oh, you think okay. Okay, so a lot of people looks like are thinking that she does perhaps have low IQ. Yeah, oh, definitely some mental health issues and some I think she's stunted. That's totally a hypothesis. I think she's stunted at around 15 or something. Possibly even younger. Gen Z doesn't think it's fake. Also, can't use excuse she used Wi-Fi to call because you don't have to have service. Yeah, I'm still confused about that one. She sure does have Donitis, 100%. I do too. I really do. And it sucks. It really, really sucks because, and I've talked about this with respect to some other people too. Growing up the way that she may have, and this is based purely on speculation, which is what we do here. That's why I have a channel to discuss and speculate. Just saying. Hi, Skyzy. Welcome. And I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you yet, K-Zona. Hi. Welcome. Totally lost my train of thought. I got to not look at the chat for a sec. Dag nabbit. What in the flying Fig Newton was I talking about? I'm sure I've overused that little slogan there, but I enjoy it. I want to say what in the, but trying to keep it classy. Trying. Oh, okay. Anyway, so here I go. So someone who is born into a shitty situation, and then let's say they already have that genetic disposition as well. And by genetic disposition, I mean if they have, if their family members, their mother, their father, their grandfather, grandmother, whoever, ancestors have a history of mental health problems, then they genetically are predisposed to have that. It doesn't mean that they will for certain, but it means that they have that predisposition. And when I speak to you on this, I do have expertise. I have the education to back it up. Okay. Some things I know what the hell I'm talking about. Other things I'm just, it's just flying out of my mouth. But this I actually know something about. So if she has that predisposition and then is born into a home environment and community that is abusive, that is just a double dose of, you're pretty much doomed, right? And not to say that it makes her behavior excusable, okay? But it gives us some understanding as to why she may be the way she is. And it also makes me feel like we need to put much more work into intervention for children who are born into these families and who are born with a genetic disposition toward a mental health issue. Yeah, we really can't tell people to stop having kids. We can, we can have that opinion, and I do. Especially if you're not able to financially provide for your children, then it's really pretty irresponsible to continue to create them and to have them suffer because of your lack of necessities, your lack of provisions for them. Right. Nazis tried that. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's my mom to one. We share a brain. I think Gen Z does too. I think we may share a brain, guys. It's not just financial. Yeah, kids need emotional stability. Absolutely. 100%. And I don't know. I think we definitely weren't there for every moment of those kids' lives, or even any moment, really. We've just seen videos and pictures, right? But from what we've seen, they've done a lot of fun things. We've seen them doing a lot of fun things, right? We've seen them smiling in pictures. I've heard a video with laughter by the kids in the background. But I've also seen photos where the boys and Summer are looking very downtrodden. Now, kids get sad at times, but some of those photos are very troubling for me. Like, why are they looking so sad like that? What's going on here? And I'm not saying that they were sad every moment of every day. Absolutely not. I know I know that Candus and Don, they did take them to do fun things. I'm sure that they did have fun family times. But there's also a reason that those kids were taken, that the boys were taken. And I believe there's also a reason that Summer is missing, and it has something to do with those parents, in my opinion. What if they were hiding her? They knew CPS was coming, just a thought. Pictures can be staged. Yeah. So my thoughts on this, and I don't claim to have ever worked for a government entity that protects children, like a Child Protective Services, but just from what I know of it, my limited experience of it, being a mandated reporter, and just through my training, previous training as an educator, I do not believe, and again, I could be wrong, but I do not believe that Child Protective Services would be like, okay, we're going to come and take your kids on Saturday at noon. It's very possible that they had an appointment for them to come to the home that day. But if they had already made a decision that they were taking any of the children, they would have just come and done it. They don't give you the courtesy of saying, we're going to come take the kids. And if you think about that, it makes perfect sense, because there are many people who would take off running with the kids, or, God forbid, harm the child permanently if they knew that that was going to happen. So my understanding is that is not a practice. It would be more so, okay, we're coming again to check on you. And neither Don or Candus, to my understanding, has verified that that is the case. I believe that came from, I'm not even sure I heard that directly from one of the stepsisters' mouths. Maybe Trish possibly said it. I couldn't even tell you where I heard it. So I'm not going to say that that's a verified thing either. My brother was a police youth officer. His job was to accompany the DCFS when there was a pickup. There was no warning. Yeah, and I mean, different states might do different things, but I don't think there would be like a courtesy, like, yeah, we're going to come get the kids, so try to get ready, you know? Yeah, every time they live, yep, everywhere that they lived, they were involved, I know. Yeah. So that said, in my opinion, I don't think that's what has happened, but so yes, abuse, it's been proven. Where do you get that information? Because I know that somebody, I think it was Don B, he made the video about the fact that the boys were taken and that they went to family court, and that's when that decision was made. And to me, it makes sense. Okay, I'm not trying to discredit him. I'm telling you what I think. All right. I have not been able to access any family court records that have shown actual abuse charges. What we know for certain is that the boys have been removed. And what we know is that the Department of Child Services does that when they're concerned for the welfare of children. But to my knowledge, we don't know specifically why they were taken. They gave them a time period to get things cleaned. Well, they surely didn't do that. Anything that has to do with children being taken as a private court documents. Okay. Which brings me to another matter. The discussion of Candus's older children, who my understanding is that they were adopted when they were babies. So I've heard some sources say, that it is commendable that Candus made the choice to place them for adoption because she realized that she could not provide the type of home that they deserved. But then I've heard, no, her rights were terminated. I haven't seen any proof of which of those has been verified. And I did hear about the interview with the alleged, I'll say, because I don't have any way of knowing whether it's true or not. Not saying it is, not saying it isn't. I don't know. But alleged foster mother of Candus III. I'm sorry to laugh. I just am like, why? Candus. That poor girl. But I think that, and I pray and hope that she's doing well, the youngest Candus. Only court docs are verified. Foster mother of Candus gave further info. Yeah, but how did she locate? This is what I don't understand. And maybe she explained this, but I don't know how she located the name of the foster mother. Because I don't believe you can find that in papers. Yeah, Don B says he has the papers, but has he shown us the papers? And he said he doesn't give two shits whether we believe him or not. So, oh my gosh. I don't like rumors that aren't verified. I get a little nervous about that. He showed a portion of the papers. If they're public record though, what and how did he get them? Does anyone know? And maybe I just need to be quiet and go watch his video and I'll find all the answers, right? But if anyone knows, I'm being lazy and I'm just asking you, how did he get those papers? If they're public record, then why isn't he showing them? Okay, Layla, I am going to tell you something. What Jay showed that I saw is something that I found weeks ago. And what it shows is not what she claims that it shows. It does not show the name of a foster mother that I can see. What I saw were Candus's charges and they were charges of assault and battery. And the victim was unnamed. And from what I know of things, an assault and battery charge would be, if it were to be against your own child, that would be a charge of child abuse rather than assault and battery, would it not? Okay, yes, I saw that too. Okay. Why would they be public if it involves kids? Yeah. Probably because they aren't public records. So then how does he have them? This is funny. Don B has gotten a lot of crap. Now Robin is saying things about him according to Cher. Oh, don't come in here with that name. Oh my gosh. That's what I'm saying, Jen. And I don't want to think that I like Don B. I do. But you can't just blindly trust people just because you get a vibe of being that they're trustworthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't even just trust what I'm telling you unless I have receipts. Okay, well, we've got some jobs for you to do. Haunted. Haunted has friends that are cops and could find anything. We need you to do it. Please. So, okay. Knows someone? Yeah, possibly. So maybe he has someone that works in the courthouse. Yeah, it could be. Okay. Well, I'm going to check my email. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I did get your emails, Layla. I need to take some time to look. Where did you get okay, what am I trying to say? Those screenshots that you sent, who is that person? Who is, and now I don't even see the name. Did you show me the name? Whoa. Yeah, I don't see the name of the person who is doing this writing. Catherine, whoa. Who's this Kathleen person? Or Catherine Gilbert, who's she? Yeah, I saw it, but who is she? Why does she know anything? Jen, that's a good point. I'm going to check his record. What's his last name? Andrew. What's Andrew's last name? Dang, I knew it. BRB. Okay, I've got it, you guys, and there's a lot. There's a freaking lot. I know that's right. Abuse doesn't happen in a vacuum. People know and just don't say anything. Mm-hmm. For real, for real. It is Predator Hunter Nation. What? Predator Hunter Nation? Okay, so let me share this with you and we'll peruse these circuits together. Okay, so you see here? Let's see how many pages there are. Okay, 2 pages. And filing date. What filing date are we going to want to be looking for? State of Wisconsin, that's 2001. Is this showing up for you guys? Yeah. Okay. Battery, no contest. Oh, it doesn't say anything about children. Let's go to previous. Oh, okay. Let's go to search results. 97. Ooh, Department of Revenue. Okay. '83. Child Support Agency. Petitioner was Colleen Simon. So that was before Candus. Okay, so we're not going to be concerned about that. Okay, support and maintenance. Okay, this is the one. Okay, so there was something regarding paternity, and that's very clearly spelled out. This is in regarding the support or maintenance of these children. What's this one? Traffic. Criminal traffic. A lot of DWIs and things for these folks. What are y'all saying? Grandest brother had a... Yeah, I know. He's douchebag. K-Zona, you're hilarious. Predator Hunter Nation are some people who the family found. They are not part of LE or working with them. It's like 3 bikers gone wild. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're saying you went to jail for child abuse, and that's what I'm trying to find, because it would specify, just like it specifies when someone sexually assaults a child, okay? It indicates that. So if there were child abuse here, it would say child abuse. So these are, 2020, 2019, 2017. It would be back here in the 04, 03, 04. Let's see what this one is. Criminal traffic. Oh, 01. Okay, this is battery. Eight days in jail. That's not for beating a child. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not saying this didn't happen, but I'm saying I'm looking for the proof in these documents, and it's not coming. Okay, bench warrant. But this is for support. Support maintenance actions. Okay, that's just about money. Paternity. Okay, paternity. And that is where Candus was like, hey, you're the daddy. Okay, she's the petitioner here. She's like, you are the daddy and you will pay some child support. That's what was going on there. Okay. Okay. So not it. Does anyone have anything to guide me that will help me? Oh, thanks for stopping in, T. Marie. Have a great afternoon, evening as well. I don't know where you saw it, sweetie, but I'm trying to find it. That's not the right file. So where should I be looking? Please help me. If he's almost 19 and he was 2, he would be born around 1999 or 2000. Okay. Thank you for doing that math for me, because clearly the struggle is real over here. So all of this stuff is older than that. Here's the 2001. Criminal damage to property, disorderly conduct, possess amphetamine, LSD. Charming. The drug use is just, it's really a problem with these guys. All right, 2001. We already looked at this, and this is battery. I'm just not seeing here that it's, anything says anything about child abuse. It's a misdemeanor, battery. And he was on probation for 2 years. So, local jail time 6 months. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Not seeing it here. Okay, so anyone got the real deal here? Anna Marie says she has it printed. Maybe she can help us. Yeah. Anna Marie, did you leave? Because I want to find it. But I just don't see it here where I'm looking. Okay. I'll go look at 2002 again. See, here's 2 records from 2002, okay? This one is from May 29th, and it's Andrew O. Simon versus Candus Rose Bly. And this is a family case. Petitioner is Andrew, and respondent is Candus. Interesting. But neither of them showed up. And this was for the recognition of parentage. So with this one, with Andrew being the petitioner, that means that he filed against Candus in reference to recognition of parentage. Interesting. But again, it says non-appearance by petitioner and respondent. Nobody showed up. It was dismissed. So that's interesting. So then in August of that same year, you got a traffic violation. Okie dokie. Okay, listen, somewhere. That's what we're trying to verify. Okay, Cat O, the record that we were just looking at was for recognition of parentage. It didn't have anything to do with anyone beating anyone. Go to 2001. No, the 17-year-old. Are you talking about Candus' daughter? Who's the 17-year-old? Who's on first? What's going on? I will check 2001. Okay, state of Wisconsin. See, I've already been here. Criminal, battery, misdemeanor. Battery, misdemeanor. This is the one where the dude spent 8 days in jail. With credit for time served, defendant has no jail time left to serve. Defendants shall continue to make monthly payments to the clerk. Okay. What are you suggesting about this? Are you suggesting that this is where he beat a 2-year-old with a bat? Because I am 99% sure that if that is what happened here, it would be a different charge. It would be child abuse. And this 8 days of jail, no. No. You don't get 8 days in jail for that. This was against the state of Wisconsin is who filed, not the defendant. And just because they don't name the defendant does not mean that it's a 2-year-old child. We can't make that assumption. I'm not going to make that assumption anyway. I mean, $125 was paid. And he did 8 days in jail. You think that's what he would get for beating a child with a baseball bat? Because that sounds like complete insanity. See you later, Haunted. Yeah, it could have been a minor, but again, if it were his own 2-year-old child, the charge would have been child abuse. And he certainly would have gotten more than 8 days in jail. Do you not agree? Anna Marie said, Andrew didn't do it, Candus did. So I looked at Candus's records also, and she has no record of a child abuse charge. It was pled down to battery for Candus. I just don't think that's a thing. But that's just me. If you're accused of abusing your 2-year-old, I don't think you're able to plead it down to, I don't know. I mean, where are you getting that information from? It has the possibility of being true, but there's nothing that says that. So I'll go to Candus's. See, someone else just emphatically said, no, it was Andrew. And now you say, no, it was Candus. Well, there's no documentation to say it's either one of them at this point that I'm seeing. Okay, so here's a 2002 for Candus, the state of Wisconsin. And here's battery and possession of paraphernalia, guilty, no contest. And the drug possession was dismissed. A misdemeanor A. On probation for 3 years. 87 days in jail. Paid $95. Offense date was August 27th, 2002. Pled guilty in March. Ooh, psych treatment. Defendant must follow any and all treatments prescribed by counselor or physician. So she was supposed to get some psych treatment. But it still doesn't mention any minor child. And I don't understand. What say you all? Anna Marie, I'm on Candus's. Libby, it's not going to mention a child. No, I'm not expecting it to mention a child's name. I'm expecting it to say child abuse. Because I don't believe for 1 second, well, I shouldn't say that emphatically. It doesn't sound right to me that a person would be charged with assault or battery. I would think it would say in that description there, child abuse or something. of that nature. Who knows? I don't know. Oh, okay. Please read my comment. Well, where is your comment? You're going to make me scroll. Scrolling. Keep that cursor scrolling. There we go. This is what it is. In my opinion, it's a child court, and the info won't be public. The only reason I'm saying this because I personally went through something and it was called child family court. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. I watched the J for Justice live, and she was so adamant about Candus being the one who abused her son. So I'm confused. I'm confused about the whole thing. Yeah, I don't know. Anna Marie, I am not looking under Andrew. Why do you? This is Candus. See this? Who are you talking to me? Oh, I can't show you because I just made it go away. Oh, here. See, that says Candus. Why are you giving up? I'm on Candus's record. Candus Bly. You see it says Candus Bly? So, I'm just saying, I'm not seeing the indisputable proof here. So that's all I know. Oh, you were behind. I'm sorry, sweetie. 2003, you want me to go to? Okay. I will do it. Okay, so I'm assuming, whoa. All right, 2003, right here, state of Wisconsin versus Candus Rose Bly. Okay, isn't that where I just was, guys? Disorderly conduct, intentionally pointing a firearm at person, and resisting or obstructing an officer. Wow, she's just a gem. Probation for 3 years. Psych treatments. 90 days in jail. Okay. So what am I supposed to be seeing here that I'm missing? Who's got it on their Facebook page? Okay, the offense date that we're looking at right now is December 28th of 2002. That's count 4. This whole thing that we're looking at right now, the offense date is December 28th, 2002. Okay, I'm scrolling through here for this offense. Okay. She was sentenced for 90 days. Okay. This is not for the battery. This is a different one. This is for disorderly conduct, intentionally pointing a firearm at person, 2 counts of that for whatever reason, and resisting or obstructing an officer. On December 28th, 2002, and this is what she was charged with. And this is her sentence. 90 days in jail, beginning on March of 2004. And that was for the first count of disorderly conduct. Now for the second count, dismissed. Third count, dismissed. Fourth count, dismissed. Okay? Okay, what, Cato? Basically, the whole lot of them were disaster area, and that. Okay, yes, that's all we can. That's all we can really determine. Anna Marie, no, that is not. That's a summary of all of her charges on December 28th of 2002. Yeah, that's from that arrest. Okay, now let's go look at the arrest for the battery, which I believe was this one. Family case. Petitioner, state of Wisconsin. No, this was the maintenance stuff. All right, where did that battery one go? Okay, so this one here charges disorderly conduct and domestic abuse. Filing date 9/9/2003. Court record. Ooh, defendant. Okay. Well, yep, that's her. Closed. Domestic abuse. Stayed for 1 year. Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, I don't think we've made any, earth-shattering anythings here. Domestic can be for a family member, hence domestic charges. I just think it would specify against a child personally, and it doesn't. So I don't know. Go to next at the bottom, and she's not to have contact with victim. Yeah, but that still doesn't. That could very well be that the person isn't named because they're a minor, but it doesn't mean that it's her 2-year-old son. It's possible, but it's not proof. The only way that it would prove it to me is if it were to say that it was her minor child, and it doesn't say that. So therefore, I determine that it's not proven in my mind. That's what I think too, Betty Jo. So I don't know. Are you thinking that the foster mom lied? Do you think this ever happened? No. Well, the other thing is, and I asked about this before, I'm interested in knowing how she found the foster mom, and maybe she just has much better snooper internet skills than I do, because I am not finding where she found that woman's name. Did she actually share the audio of that, or did she repeat what she learned from her? And I did hear that too. And who said that originally? And how do we know that that's fact? Kat, I think she found the foster mom through Candus Floden. Interesting. Oh yeah, I could ask her. I just wondered if anyone here knew. That wasn't even the point of my stream. We just got into the rabbit hole, and here we are. So that be that. But my tummy's rumbling, so I think I need to go have a snack before it becomes an issue. And I faint as we're talking. If anyone finds anything, I'm very interested in hearing, though. Okay, in Don B's channel, Phoenix saw it as well. Okay, I'll go check Don B's channel. I'm not going to put it up here because I just need to go get something to eat. But I will definitely see you all on the interview room tonight, because that is my jam. I love me some Chris McDonough, some Chris McNuggets. That said, everyone, the Confederate flag is a racist symbol. Don't fly it. Don't wear it. We can disagree on a lot of things, but racism ain't one of them. God bless you all. See you later. Bye-bye.